See now are the clip art that I've got ready for my new document for my spiral notepads. And I'm going to go out and create a new document in InDesign. And the important thing about creating this new document in InDesign is you remember that it's letter and wide. So make sure it's letter and wide and select OK. The other thing you need to do is make sure your rulers are in inches. My default does not come in inches, so I'm going to hold down the Shift key, the Option key. Maybe if this doesn't freeze. And just change those rulers to inches. The first thing that we need to do is put the rulers that you had on your fold rough layout in. So I told you to fold it in half, which is at 5.5, and then we made another triangle shape to make an equally square product, which is 5.5. Now we need to add margins to these two images. So we're going to have a 1/2 inch margin on each side. And then we have our scrap. Now down here is our scrap. And so if you know, and if you're going to make a notepad in your scrap area for extra credit, I need to know how big this height is. So from here to here is 3 inches. So I'm going to put a scrap line to make that square right here that's 3 inches. And then I'm going to put another scrap line over here for the dimensions. And I'm not going to put margins on these. I'm just going to put something simple. Now on my design, I wanted to do something for Colts for the demo. And so I'm just going to click and drag that Colt onto the desktop. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. If it doesn't, oh, it did work. So now I'm just going to go and resize it to about the size I want it to be, which is about 25%. And I'm going to just put it in the upper right hand corner. Now what I just did was I moved the Colt rather inside the bounding box rather than the bounding box itself. So if you want to make sure you move it correctly, make sure it's on the red one. Now I'm just going to put in some fancy style, and I used to have a text style called Giddy Up, which it looks like old ropes. And for some reason I'm not seeing my type at the top. So you can always go to type character and it will have your fonts in there. Should have fonts right here. Maybe I have to type the words before the fonts show up. So I'm going to just put Cottonwood Colts. And now that it's typed, it's showing up. Let's see if I have my font called Giddy Up still. You can see it, I just can't get to it. There's my Giddy Up. And make it a little bit bigger, or a lot bigger. And notice that some of these specialty fonts don't have a bold. So if you want it even bigger, you can. Now I'm going to position this first one. I'm going to go ahead and center it to the whole page. And then I'm going to, whoops, you have to have it highlighted to center it. 3 clicks should give you the whole line. Mine's going slow, so it's not doing it. So click and drag usually works best for me. And then I'm going to make it look a little bit better by dropping it to the center of the horse. And then I'm going to put another horse on the other side so it's centered. And when I Control C and Control pasted, it put it in the center right here. So now if I put it there, that looks really good. Now I don't really want to do all that work over again, so let me show you this easy shortcut. I'm going to select all and Command G to group it, and then I'm going to edit copy, but when I'm going to go edit, step, and repeat, and now I can tell it I just want it exactly one duplication. I want the vertical offset 5.5 inches with 0 horizontal. Nope, I got that backwards. 0 vertical and 5.5 horizontal, and say OK. And it should put it exactly where I want it over here. And notice it did. I forgot to draw that margin in. Now I'm just going to do some fun little words like joy or pride or happiness that we can use in our Skills USA fundraiser. I have some joys and some prides, but I don't have any. Let's do happy, ... happy, ... happy. Because that song's kind of popular right now. So there's just a happy, happy, happy. And pick a fun font. I really like Bauhaus, but it's a little bold. So let's try Chalk Duster. But my fonts aren't doing very much. And that's basically the whole thing. Now, since I don't know the exact distance, and my fonts are giving me grief, we'll put it in Bauhaus since I'm kind of into that font right now. Did I spell happy wrong? How would I know? And then make sure you center it, or do whatever design you want on those scrap ones. And then whatever you do on this side, do exactly the opposite, the same thing on that side. And that's the whole layout. Oh, yeah, that's the whole layout. We could put cut marks, but usually when we put cut marks, they don't print exactly. If you were to put cut marks, you would just take a little line and drag, and then you have a little mark to see where the cuts go. And that's how you make cut marks. So I have a center cut mark so I can see it, and technically I'd put another one up here so I could line it up. One here and one here. And then I wouldn't put the cut marks here. I could, but I just need to make sure that I cut those after I cut the major projects. And that's the whole thing for how to make a spiral notepad